What's happening, guys? My name is Jamie, this is the Norwich Reptile Shed, and in this video we're going to finish up the Force Water Cobra Vivarium and move her in. Right, so we've got the background done in the previous video. That was it. That was where we got. What we've got to do now in this video to get this thing up and running, I've just had the glass made, so that all fits, which I'm really happy about. No messing about required, so really happy with that one. So next up, I'm going to focus on the heat. Obviously, we've got the full spectrum LED thing going on in there. We need to fit the UV lamp, the heat, drop the probe in, and then we can worry about clearing this up and decorating it. So let's talk about the heat. Okay, so with my heat, I'm going to mount it slightly differently than I did in the last vid, which is just straight to the plywood on top. The reason I'm going to mount this on a piece of plywood and span the two cross beams there is because I don't want the heat to go directly up into the vivarium above, which it seems to be a problem that I've got with another vivarium, and this will allow for some airflow underneath. There's no way the snake can get to any of this. If it really wants to, it can get to the plywood on top, but it won't be able to damage itself, and it's a Force Water Cobra, not truly arboreal, so I would put money on it that it's not going to climb up there. So the guys over at Reptile Systems have been kind enough to give me a 24 watt UV lamp for this project, and I'm going to be fitting it across this batten here, as close to the heat as possible. Obviously this piece of plywood makes it a little bit more difficult, but as close to the heat as possible to kind of give that halogen heat, UVB, all in the same sort of area where you would naturally find all that radiation under the sun. So the further we get away, the less heat, the less UV, light, shade. We're going for that kind of thing. So let's hook that up. I need to, same as I always do, I need to cut the end off of this, join it to my full spectrum junction box in there, so them two lights come on together, and then we've just got the one plug for the two lights. Nice and easy, crack on. Okay, so that's the heat hooked up, ready for a thermostat. The UV in, the full spectrum in. Really, all that's left is to clean this up, start thinking about decorating it, get the vents in, get the thermostat in. Okay, so let me give you a quick run over of what we've done and where we are. So I've left a big space here for a big water bowl. For my force water cobras, I normally use a cat litter tray, and this one's going to be no exception. I thought about adding really doing like a rockwork one, but the cat litter trays, they're easy to clean. They poo in their water. They're always in their water, so you need something that you can pull out quickly and change. And I ummed and ahed with this vivarium about making like a waterfall and things like that, but for this species it's going to be a pain in the arse to have any kind of bowl of water that you can't just grab, empty out and change. So I've added some more plants. We've got philodendron scandens there, which I just happened to find in the reptile shed. I actually I've got like a propagation bin which is all lit up. I showed it in a past video. And in there was a massive, honestly, 2 foot of it. Well, maybe not 2 foot, but almost 2 foot of scandens there. I've never had much luck with scandens, but I've thrown it in anyway. We're going to see what happens. For this one, I've kind of just grabbed what I've got in the reptile shed that I'm not using for a vivarium. Even stuff that, well, I haven't given away. Haven't given her my my absolute favourite plants, but she's got a few of my plants that I was just going to grow out and then take cuttings from. We've also chucked a Boston fern in the back there. So yeah, we've got some leaf litter going on. I found some old Ficus benjamina leaves. I've just thrown them in. They'll rot down. We've got the yucca stuff going on. I've tried to hide this hide, the plastic hide. I don't. If you've seen any of my other builds, you'll know I don't really use the plastic hides or anything like that. But again, force water cobras are a slightly different animal than most of the snakes that I have in the shed. They like to hide. They're skittish, even to the point where sometimes just having a hide there that I could block the entrance to grab the water bowl or to change the heat lamp. With this species, that's quite a good idea, because it doesn't take much, especially my ones. I haven't had them since they were babies. I haven't handled them that often. I do treat them like they're a venomous snake. So when they come out of the vivarium, very occasionally when they need to come out of the vivarium, they are hooked and things like that. So it's not her fault, but she doesn't know that I'm not prey. She will try and bite me if I put my hand in there to change the water bowl. So sometimes it's nice just to have something like that that I can kind of secure up, take the water bowl out, open it up. So I don't really want to stress the animal. I certainly won't be hooking her out to do anything, to change water bowls or anything silly like that. So yeah, half the time I can kind of distract them, put them over that end, and then grab the bowl. But yeah, that's where we are with that one. This area, I'm going to keep this side dry. This side's going to be slightly moist. This side's going to be slightly dry. There's mixed reports about these guys. They say as babies we should keep them more moist than as adults. I keep mine currently on orchid bark that I soak down. I haven't noticed anything to do with scale rot or anything like that. But for this basking area, especially now I'm using such a big amount of soil, I've mixed in some topsoil in this area, and I'm going to let that dry out, so there is kind of a drier section. So that's where we are with that. Okay, final steps. We have everything we need to go to get this thing up and running. I've got a 60 watt Reptile Systems halogen heat lamp. You know I love these, so I'm going to fit that in there. I've got to cut this wire. No, I haven't got to cut that wire. I've just got to feed the wire through there, plug it into a thermostat, drop the probe down, and I've got my cat litter trays, nice brand new ones. And then I've been thinking about a plant. I'm thinking that there's something missing big plant wise in here. So what I'm thinking of doing is taking out this little plant that I've got there and replacing it with a monstera. I'm thinking monstera because it will take a beating from the force water cobra, and it grows large, and it should fill the space quite well. I'm not going to plant it directly in the soil. I'm actually going to put it in one of these pots. You've seen me do this before on the Royal Python Vivarium, so I'm actually going to just transplant that into a bigger pot and deal with it as I need to. It does mean in the future, if it grows wild or if it starts to look really crap, then I can just whip it out and I haven't got to pull out a load of soil. I'm being extra lazy, and I've actually gone and got a bag of Monstera and Philodendron soil from Soil Ninja, so that's going in there. That'd be nice and easy. Got to drop the vents in, fit the heat lamp, and do the water bowls. So with the water bowls, I've actually got, there's 3 there, but what I'm going to end up doing is one wall, I'll bury one into the soil, and the next one will just slide into it, and then I can lift that out without the soil falling in the hole and making it hard, and it just kind of hides it a bit. So let's crack on. So I hope you enjoyed that video, guys. As you can see, Mrs. False Water Cobra is now in the vivarium. Everything seems to be good. The temps are reading correct. Everything's fine. And actually, she would normally be going for me right now if this was a smaller vivarium. So maybe this is going to have a positive effect as well. We will see what happens in the future. So not to sound all doom and gloom here, but this might be the last big build I do in the reptile shed for a while. For those of you in the UK, you know that we are currently at an all-time high on fuel prices, which is hitting us reptile keepers hard, as well as families and pretty much everyone who isn't rolling in money. So at the moment I need to batten down the hatches. I need to make sure what I've got is good. I need to make sure I can afford to pay the bills to keep this running, and that probably means I'm not going to be buying £240 worth of plywood to build another stack of vivariums. So the guys that are in the 5-foot vivariums are just going to have to wait it out just a little bit longer, and we'll see what happens maybe next year. Don't go thinking I'm not going to be doing videos. I've got loads of video ideas in the pipeline, but this might be the last big build for just a little while. On that note, I've also got a Patreon, so if you want to support the channel, please head over to Patreon in the link below. If not, please like, subscribe, and check me out on Instagram, Facebook, all that kind of stuff, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. I can't reach.